13 red flags that you are with the wrong person right now. What is the first one?
So number one is the relationship with God is not a priority for that person.
When God is not the most important for that person, it's a red flag. If you are the most important person for the person you are with, that's a red flag.
Scary.
That's scary. You know, I always told even my wife that, you know, I love Jesus more than I love you. And because of that, I will love you more every single year as we grow together.
Yeah. I think when we understand this truth, it doesn't become scary. It actually liberates us and makes us trust that person. If when I was single and I was praying, God, would you please give me a husband that will love you more than he will love me? And that's exactly what I got. And I am so thankful to God that I, prayed those prayers, and my mindset was correct in this area to understand that a person needs to be attached to God more than anything before he's attached to you.
So ladies, a good prayer to pray. Instead of saying, Lord, send me a Mr. Handsome, send me a person that loves you more than
and
he
I
will love me.
also got the Mr. Handsome.
Amen. Praise God. So
Number
red flag number 2.
Actions and words don't match.
That's a big one. That's a character flaw.
Yeah.
And even if that person is in the Lord, if what they say and what they do, I'm not talking about once or twice, but you're noticing there's a pattern. This person says one thing, does another. They make promises they don't keep. They keep breaking their oaths, their commitments. You're dealing with a person that either is immature, likes to be admired for the words he says, but doesn't have the character to live out his commitments. To me, it's a huge, huge red flag.
Number 3, if she or he has close friends that are not committed to the Lord. And I think this one is actually huge, because this is how you can actually see with whom that person is more comfortable with people who are more secular or with godly people. And that's a very huge sign to see who the person is really is.
It's important that we always have non-Christian friends. But if your closest and your best friends and all of them are not believers, and you feel very comfortable and you don't seem to click with believers, to me that's a huge red flag.
Red flag, yeah. Number 4, if a person, he or she, more of a guy, but sometimes she has a wandering eye. What do you have to say about that?
A wandering eye, it's when when a guy is constantly checking out other girls. I would add to that also following on Instagram.
Oh yes,
Ooh,
this is
like
huge.
Come on, go
ladies,
ahead.
I have to say it. If a guy is interested in you, I beg you, make sure you go through his followers and see everyone who he is following. Big, very important. Okay, it's very important. That way you can actually see if a guy is like, okay, looking at other girls, and he's or you can even tell if he has an issue with lust or issue with pornography. Maybe he doesn't follow porn stars on Instagram, but you can kind of see who, maybe those celebrities that are half naked, and you can tell if the person has issue with lust.
Somebody said that he was following a lot of prostitutes on his Instagram, a wandering eye when he follows Instagram models. To me, I think it's supposed to be a red flag when a believer, a young man, man of purity, is following female models, female working out trainers. And because all of the working out trainers, it's soft porn pretty much and stuff. So whatever you girls can follow, but for a guy to follow somebody with tight
or
pants,
Hollywood stars,
and exposing their breasts and everything, and it's just to stay relevant. Or it's not a big deal, I'm just my friends, and stuff. So to me, it's just a big deal. I'm not saying that as a girl you should control, but you should definitely, you can't ignore that.
Take a note.
Yeah. You gotta take a note. You gotta see that, because that is a big sign. And so Number five.
Number 5. He or she has recently gotten out of a relationship and they didn't heal yet.
And this deals with the person who just broke up recently. My personal encouragement is for people to take at least 6 months, 6 to 12 months, depending on the depth and the closeness of the previous relationship, especially if the previous relationship ended in immorality or fornication. Like, there needs to be repentance, there needs to be inner healing, even sometimes deliverance. And when the person jumps out, the reason why it's a red flag is because you don't really know if the person loves you or if the person uses you as a band-aid when they're jumping into a relationship with you right away.
What if they say, okay, I just had a big breakup and this person is giving me this attention and they're helping me to heal? What do you say about that?
I wouldn't say that it's always a bad thing. I would consult counselors, mentors, to kind of monitor this person's heart, because I know some people who got married like that, and honestly they have a thriving, great relationship. They still had to deal with those issues, but to say that this is healthy or this is wise, it is not. And so, because a lot of times, you're dealing with this hurt and you're dealing with this thing, and then 3, 4, 5 months later you actually have withdrawals and you actually want to go back to the person that you broke up with. Like, and I'll be candid and honest. I've had a relationship before I met Lana. It was a dating relationship with a young gal from our church, and I broke up with her. A few months later, I went back to the same relationship, even though we didn't fit together. It wasn't for me, and I wasn't for her.
But the emotional attachment.
But the emotional attachment drew it back. The worst thing would have happened is for me to go to another relationship, because I would have missed this person and go back. You don't, when a guitar stops playing music, the strings are not removed. Just because you walked away, it doesn't mean all the strings are gone. So it takes time. Time is the great revealer. And the person who just broke up or separated, please go into a healthy small group. Go into relationship, if you're a woman, with other women. Get a counselor. Go into church. Find a good hobby. Begin to rebuild yourself. Don't jump into another relationship without learning the lessons that you had to learn. You have to learn, even if it was not your fault. Because statistics says your next relationship, marriage, after the divorce, the chances of it ending in divorce is higher than the first one. So the idea that I learned so fast that I'm going to jump into a next relationship is actually baloney.
Yeah.
It's not how this works. You didn't learn anything, because statistics says that you go back into actually worst case, not better case. And so I would really encourage to take time to pause and don't jump to be in a relationship with somebody, or for example, going into dating with somebody whose divorce is not finalized.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think that's a big no. That's just 100%. That's a big no. Oh, we're still finalizing, or it's been finalized. You need to cut the cord. This cord has to be cut. Person has to deal with that stuff first before they go into the next relationship. To me, that's a big red flag. Red flag number 6.
Number 6. A person shows signs of controlling or abusive behavior. This is pretty self-explanatory, but I think it has to be mentioned because a lot of people miss those signs, especially the signs of control. I think this is when a person is controlling, even if it's like already in dating, you can see the signs of control. If a person doesn't like you to hang out with your friends that you used to have, or a person constantly showing signs that they only want to be with you, only you are theirs, you're their world. This is actually very unhealthy, because later on when you marry that kind of a person, you're going to be very miserable. That person will take another level of control and will be sometimes it gets out of control.
Yeah, I think that as well, what I would want to mention is there's a difference between love and obsessive love. When a person has an obsessive love, they don't love you. They are actually having a problem and they are possessing you. They are trying to control you, and that is very, very dangerous. And so we have to be very careful, because that becomes extremely toxic. At first, actually, if you have had a problem with, having somebody love you, like, you will actually fall prey to that, and you'll be like, man, this is so amazing. I am wanted, I am desired, and everything. But in reality, it's not. When the person is obsessed with you, they will become possessive of you. Here are the 6 characteristics of obsessive love. Obsessive love is when a person cannot live without you, when the person demands unreasonable amounts of
That's
time,
good.
and when the person ignores the other aspects of their own life to be with you, when the person shows jealousy toward anything and any activity that compels for your attention, that competes for your attention, when the person follows you, checks up on you when
Yeah.
you're not together, and obsessive love begins with an intense emotion, flattery, and attention, but
Yeah,
slowly
yeah.
it grows into unhealthy possessiveness of you.
Yeah, yeah, that's big. I think love, it's completely opposite. Love always gives freedom, trust, a choice, encourages a person to have relationships, cultivate friendships, and even cultivate the friendships, create new friendships that a couple can enjoy together. I would say the freedom. Number 7, the person has the same sin habits, addictions, and struggles, and doesn't have freedom.
Shouldn't we give a chance for people who are struggling? Or do you think that when the person, for example, is addicted to drugs, where is the line between, dating them, or addicted to pornography, or addicted to smoking, or addicted to lying, or maybe other stuff? Where's the line of dating them if they're addicted?
So the line is, you just don't. You do not date people who are addicted, who have really terrible habits that will eventually destroy the marriage or a relationship, period. That person needs a rehab center, not a relationship.
Oh, whoa.
If a person especially is
Addicted
addicted to
person-
alcohol, drugs,
Hold
or
on, one
even
second.
addiction to
Let's hold on.
sex.
So a person who is addicted needs a rehab, not a relationship. Oh,
Yes.
come on, somebody, drop that in the chat right now. A person that's
because
addicted needs a
because
rehab.
they need a rehab, they think they will find the rehab in the relationships. But it's a very false notion. It's absolutely untrue. That will actually destroy another person's world and not heal that person who is addicted to something.
Now, if you are in a marriage relationship and you are addicted, we are not saying, okay, dump your spouse right now
Yeah.
and then dump him into rehab. And also, a lot of people who are addicted, I feel like they need deliverance and discipline, not dating.
Yeah,
That's
come
good.
on.
Drop that in the chat. If you're addicted, you need deliverance and discipline, not dating. So it's important that you take time to get free. So for those of you who are right now watching and you are single, please don't feed that addiction. Get freedom. Overcome that. Get into deliverance. Come to our prayer line and get delivered. Go through my prayer videos and get delivered. Experience deliverance. It doesn't mean if you get married you have to be perfect. We all sin and stumble, but when you willfully, habitually, intentionally continue to sin without repentance, it destroys the other person. And if kids are involved, it's extremely difficult and damaging. Marriage is supposed to be a blessing, but you will make it a battlefield because of that addiction, and it just makes it very, very difficult. And so if you're single and you're dating somebody who is addicted to porn right now, and they do not seek deliverance, they do not want to put any kind of discipline in their own life, drop them like a hot potato and run from them like from a plague.
Yep. Number 8. The person doesn't respect purity and has no desire to wait until marriage to have sexual relationship.
That's huge. If from the beginning this person is not willing to set boundaries with you and not willing to help you guard those boundaries, but they are opposite, they're like, no, I want to make out, no, I want to have sex, or no, I want to have all these other sexual activities that are not, intercourse or anything
some
of that.
people, some guys, they say, yes, okay, yeah, I can do that, but then they push the envelope. They said one thing with their words, but with their actions, they're pushing the envelope of purity. So that's a huge red sign.
Yeah, they're not interested in that, and they are just simply wanting to, they're just in there not for love, they're in there for lust. They don't love you, they love pleasure. They don't love the person. And so, and that is a big red flag. If somebody from the beginning says, no, I want to, don't buy a cow if you don't drink milk from it, don't buy a car if you don't test it. If that's their view of sexuality, then you have to present to them, say, hey, listen, home slice, sexuality is more like a super glue than a milk from a cow or a test driving a car. And you don't play around with super glue. You don't test super glue on your finger. because it's going to stick. That's why people develop soul ties, get demons and sexual transmitted diseases, get unwanted pregnancy, and so many other things. And sex has to be reserved for marriage. In fact, I'm going to go as far as to say this. One of the best ways to know if the person really loves you or they want to use you is deny them sex until the altar.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you will see.
Yeah.
If they love you, love is patient. They'll be with you.
Yep.
If they don't, if they're only lusting, they're going to walk away and find somebody who will give them
else,
what they really want, which is not,
Definitely.
they don't want love, they just want lust.
Red flag number 9. You don't want kids to become like him or her. That is a red flag.
If you're looking at this person and you're like, would never want, I'm not saying that the kids will not look like that person. Okay, because a lot
Just
of times
become like him.
Because a lot of things, this is what I realize about guys and girls. Before we get married, we focus on our wants. The moment you get married, you focus on your needs. I don't, before you get married, you want him to be handsome, you want him to be rich and everything. When you get married, you want him to be there for you, you want him to take care of you, you want him to notice you, you want him to be responsible, you want all of those things when you get married. And so that's very, very different. Now, number 10,
you don't have peace about marrying this person. And this is big. If you're a believer, I think it's a must. It's one of the God-given signs that, the Lord, that person fits you well, is you have to have peace about that.
Now,
number 11, your mentors and family feel iffy about this person. Now, if this one is more, if your mentors and your parents, they are godly people, and you trust them in a lot of their advices and things like that, and if they don't feel good and they see something further than you see when you like someone, because when you're like in that infatuation stage, you're kind of wearing those pink glasses, you do need an input from people that you can trust. And many times if they feel iffy about it, most likely they are right.
And another thing you have to keep in mind is the moment things go bad, guess who you're going to go to?
Those people.
You're going to go to your parents. You're going to go to your mentors. So it's important to pay attention to the words that they speak. It is your decision, but it's important to pay attention to the words that they speak.
And number 12. Being with that person has distracted you from Christ, the church, and your closest friends. And this is huge. I've seen this happen every single time, left and right, where someone gets into the relationships and they are no longer in church. They're pulled out like a magnet out of the church, out of the fellowship with friends. They're secluded. They're nowhere to be found until they come back broken. Unfortunately.
That is so true. And that's one of the signs. It's like that obsessive love. It's that infatuation. And some people are afraid. They're like, when I fall in love or when I start dating this person, I feel like it's a distraction to my walk with God. Like to some degree, you will be there is going to be this thing where this person is going to be on your mind. As long as you are still with your church, with your family, and as long as you're still with your closest friends. But to some degree, there will be this season where there will be a little bit of distraction. So I think it's normal. Don't feel bad about it. They did not become an idol, and they are not an Isaac that you need to sacrifice, okay? So because I know, and this is when you know you're not mature. And I always tell people, when you are from 13 to 19 and you still have the teen attached to your age, a relationship will always distract you. It's very difficult because you're still not emotionally super mature. But then when you hit about 21, 22, your level is different. You're thinking not just with your heart, you're thinking with your head, you're thinking with your conscience, you're kind of reevaluating everything. And these relationships, even if they kind of will infuse you with a lot of emotion and love and thoughts, but you'll know that, hey, this is a good thing. This is not distracting me from God, from the church and everything. But when you're a teenager, like it's literally like nothing exists. Only this person. You're thinking living only for them 100%. And so that's why I always tell people that do not get married do not date if you're not ready for marriage, and don't think about marriage if you have a teen attached to your age.
And the last one, number 13. you're already praying for God to change that person.
It's funny, but
Lord, I love him, but please, can you change him in this
save
area
him,
or
Lord.
her?
Save him, Lord.
Yeah,
Save him, Lord.
save him.
Don't make him look at other girls. Lord, please help him to stop being lazy and playing video games 24/7. Lord, help him to be more responsible. And then you're looking for a job for him because he doesn't want to work, and it's just like, it's better to not to bring, so in final thoughts, I'm going to share 3 things concerning this. It's better to wait for God to bring the right person to you than to wait for God to change the wrong person that you bring to God. And when I say wrong person, it's when you ignore all the red flags and you still do it because you really are infatuated. It's not that, they are in the Lord and you wish to be with this person as much as you're just ignoring the common sense. You're going against the wisdom of the wise people in your life, and you're going against your own peace. There's tension right there, like in there, but you're crossing all of that because you're infatuated and because you just don't want to miss out. Nobody's gonna love you. You will never get another chance. This person is hot. Well, hell is hot. You don't want to date hell. But this person is like so amazing and everything, and they are everything that your ex wasn't. Everything that your ex couldn't be. And so like now the fact that they're missing the other 80% that maybe your previous relationship had, you're looking blindly at that stuff, closing your eyes, hoping that they will change, and then you start kind of like going into the relationship knowing that they need drastic like construction remodel in their life, spiritually remodel in their life, but you're jumping in and you're hoping that I'm going to pray them out, I'm going to fast them out. Listen, now if you're in that situation already, keep going, do not give up. But if you're not in that situation, please don't do it. Yeah. Why would you want to destroy your life like that? Why? When you can spend your life being with the person that can help you to move mountains, establish God's kingdom, where you don't have to fight about tongues or cessationism or fight about going to church or not going to church, where why would you want to do that and stuff? It's better to be single and whole than to be married and be in some kind of a emotional prison. And so I just really want to encourage you guys, marriage is not that easy. And it's so difficult when you're married with a person who does not share your values, who doesn't have respect for you, and who is chronically narcissistic or controlling, manipulative. Imagine walking with 2 types of shoes. One shoe has one size, the other shoe has the other size. Like, you won't walk for very long. Imagine running like that. It's uncomfortable. Now, can you still do it? Yeah. So people sometimes like, but it's not wrong. The Bible doesn't say it's wrong. No, it's not wrong. But the question I want to ask you, is it wise? Is it wise? Is this the best thing for your future in light of your past, in light of the calling, in light of the advice that you received from your mom and dad, in the light of the peace that you don't feel in your heart? Your God says run. Your God says you're making a big mistake. In light of all of that, is this the wisest decision? So yes, the Bible tells us they have to be in the Lord. The Bible tells us you can marry at liberty whom you wish, but the Bible is also a book of wisdom. And the Bible gives us people like Vlad and Lana, like your mom and your dad, gives us other people who walk alongside of us and say, hey, you don't camp at it's not wrong. Move to the side that it's wise. Now, the other 2 final thoughts that we want to give him is, don't be blind to what you're seeing during dating. As we mentioned, spoon food in dating is tons in marriage, meaning, it's just a little problem. In marriage,
it's going to be
big problem. Whatever is in dating usually gets magnified in marriage. Like if this person is not clean, they are not going to get clean because they're going to get your last name. If this person is not punctual, I can tell you one thing: marriage vows has never changed anybody to be punctual. And so like just remember, don't be blind to what you're seeing right now, and don't hide it under a carpet because it's not going anywhere after the wedding. And the third thing is that, I mentioned before you get married, we seem to focus on what we want. When we get married, we begin to more focus on what we need.